All right, ambassadors, welcome to reading. It is now time for reading. I need you to do me a favor and go retrieve your practice book, page 217, also page 218. I need you to go retrieve your practice book, page 217 and 218. All right, so first things first, before we get started, at the top where it says name, I need you to make sure that your name is at the top. At the top where it says name, I need you to make sure that your name is at the top. All right, now let's read the directions. Your direction says to finish the story. On each line, write a word from the box. Let's look at the words in the box. What is the first word in the box? What is the first word in the box? First word in the box is called author. Good job. What's under author? That is clause. Next, drawing. What's under drawing? Hawk. Next, taught. What's under taught? Saw. Good job. Next, caught. And last but certainly not least, because. Good job. Now the title of this paragraph is called She Became an Author. She became an author. So let's read along as I read aloud. Let's go. Many years ago, a girl often sat outside blank. Many years ago, a girl often sat outside blank. She liked watching the world. So now we got to figure out what this first blank answer is. So it says that many years ago, a girl often sat outside blank. She liked watching the world. So would it be many years ago, a girl often sat outside author? She liked watching the world. Does that sound right? No, not quite. What if we use the word saw? Let's say many years ago, a girl often sat outside saw. She liked watching the world. Does that sound right? Not quite. So what word best fits in that blank? It says, many years ago, a girl often sat outside blank. She liked watching the world. What word best goes with that blank? What if we chose the word because? What if we chose the word because? So we will say, many years, a girl often sat outside because she liked watching the world. Does the word because sound right? It does. So now let's write the word because on the line for number 1. Let's write the word because on the line for number 1. Again, let's write the word because on the line for number 1. So now since it says that many years ago, a girl often sat outside because she liked watching the world. All right, let's keep going. Again, read along as I read aloud. It says the girl wrote about everything she blank. The girl wrote about everything she blank. So the girl wrote about everything what word best fits in that blank? The girl wrote about everything that she Let's say you chose the girl wrote about everything that she claws. Does that sound right? The girl wrote about everything that she claws. Does that sound right? That does not sound right. Let's look again. Let's try again. What if we say the girl wrote about everything that she caught? What if we say the girl wrote about everything that she caught? Not quite. Try one more time. Come on, give me your best answer that fits. Remember the sentence says that the girl wrote about everything that she saw. The girl wrote about everything she saw. So for number 2's blank, you should be writing the word saw. The girl wrote about everything she saw. The girl wrote about everything that she saw. So far, so great. Our paragraph reads that many years ago, a girl often sat outside because she liked watching the world. The girl wrote about everything she saw. All right, let's keep going. It says she wrote about a blank flying overhead. She wrote about a blank flying overhead. All right, so let's look at our words in the word bank. And what is something that can fly? What word describes something that can fly? What word is a name of something that is able to fly? Look closely in your word bank and tell me what word is a name of something that is able to fly. What word is a name of something that is able to fly? You should have chosen a hawk. A hawk is another name for a bird. A hawk is something that is able to fly. So let's put the word hawk in a sentence and let's see how it sounds. It says she wrote about a hawk flying overhead. Does hawk sound right? It does. So for blank number 3, let's go ahead and write the word hawk. Let's go ahead and write the word hawk. Keep in mind that every time that you use a word out of the word bank, it is best to cross it out. That way you know that that word cannot be used again. Write the word hawk for blank number 3. All right, so let's read what we got so far. So far we have many years ago, a girl often sat outside because she liked watching the world. The girl wrote about everything she saw. She wrote about a hawk flying overhead. All right, let's keep going. It had blank and inset. It had blank and inset. Well, what did it do to an inset? What did it do? Normally when a hawk is eating, or normally when something does something with an insect, or an animal does something with an insect, he normally does what to that insect? In order for him to have it as his breakfast, his lunch, or his dinner, he must do what to that insect? He must catch it. So which word stands for or is another word for catch? What word is another word for catch? Or capture? What is another word for catch or capture? That word would be caught. So let's read the sentence with the word caught in it. Let's go. It says, it had caught an insect. Does that word sound right? It does. So let's go ahead for number 4 and write the word caught on the line. Let's go ahead and write the word caught on the line. Let's go ahead and write the word caught on the line. All right, let's read so far what we have. It says, many years ago, a girl often sat outside because she liked watching the world. The girl wrote about everything she saw. She wrote about a hawk flying overhead. It had caught an insect. All right, let's keep working. Let's read on. It says, it held the insect in its blank. It held the insect in its blank. So when you think about a hawk, and when you think about the things that are on a hawk, when you think about the different things that they have that they use to capture their prey, what is one thing that a hawk uses to capture an insect or uses to capture its prey? What is one thing that they use that they have to capture its insect or its prey or its lunch or its dinner or its breakfast? What is one thing that they use to capture it? One thing that they use to capture it. If You said author, not quite. You're almost there, but not quite there. Remember, I'm trying to catch something. I am a hawk and I'm trying to catch my prey. I'm trying to catch my insect. So now that I have caught my insect, in which part or yes, which part of my body am I using to catch my insect or to catch my prey? Look at your word bank. They will use their claws. So it held the insect in its claws. They will use their claws to catch their prey. So for number 5, your answer will be claws. Your answer will be claws. It held the insect in its claws. In its claws. So let's read what we have so far. Many years ago, a girl often sat outside because she liked watching the world. The girl wrote about everything she saw. She wrote about a hawk flying overhead. It had caught an insect. It held the insect in its claws. All right, let's figure out this last blank. It says, the years went by and the girl grew up. She became a well-known blank of books about birds that hunt. She became a well-known blank of books about birds that hunt. So when you think about a person who publishes books, or a person who writes books, what are they normally called? What is a person who normally writes in the book? They normally create the words. They don't do the pictures, but they normally create the words. They normally publish the book. Now, you'll find a lot of books that may go through a publisher, but sometimes you'll find that this person writes the words in the book, and they just might also work hand in hand with the publisher, so they'll put them down as a publisher of the book. So think about a person who writes the words in a book. What would this person be called? This person is called the author. So it says, the years went by and the girl grew up. She became a well-known author of books about birds that hunt. So for number 6, we're going to write the word author. For number 6, we're going to write the word author. For number 6, we're going to write the word author. All right, so now let's read the completed paragraph. It says, many years ago, a girl often sat outside because she liked watching the world. The girl wrote about everything she saw. She wrote about a hawk flying overhead. It had caught an insect. It held the insect in its claws. The years went by and the girl grew up. She became a well-known author of books about birds that hunt. Job well done. Now let's go to the second half of page 217. It says use each pair of words in a sentence. It says use each pair of words in a sentence. So the first pair of words that we have is author and because. So we know that author is a person who writes the books. It's a person who writes the books. So what sentence can we create with the word author and because? I want you to write what sentence comes to mind when you see the word author and because. You're going to write that sentence on the line for number 7. And then you're going to write a sentence that uses both words, hawk and saw. Remember, you're using both words in one sentence. So when you look at number 7, that means in one sentence, you're going to use the word author and you're going to use the word because. And then on number 8, when you see the word hawk and saw, you're going to use both the word hawk and saw in one sentence. And then on number 9, you're going to use both caught and claws in one sentence on number 9. So before you start with number 7, number 8, and number 9, let's go ahead and flip over and let's look at page 218. Let's look at page 218. So let's go ahead and look at page 218. Again, we are looking at page 218. All right, so on page 218, it says write 2 words from the box that go with each vocabulary word. Write the words on the lines below the vocabulary word. So again, your direction says to write 2 words from the box that go with each vocabulary word. Write the words on the lines below the vocabulary word. So first, we have to remember the vocabulary words that we went over during our reading group time on Zoom yesterday. During our reading group time on Zoom yesterday, we have to look back at the vocabulary words that we talked about during our time on there. So now let's say maybe you may not remember those vocabulary words. So what you can do is go ahead and grab your refrigerator copy practice every day. You can go ahead and grab your refrigerator copy practice every night. Practice every night. You can go ahead and grab that and bring that to the video or to the computer or to the TV with you right now. You can go ahead and grab that paper and bring it with you right now. Also on this paper, you also see the spelling words as well as the robust words. Go ahead and grab that paper right now before we start. All right, so now let's get started. So let's go over the words that are in your word bank. Let's go over the words that are in your word bank. Let's go. First word is read. Next, build. Next, sense. Next, prize. Next, wonderful. The next one, study. Next, important. Next, saw. Next, father. Next, further, sorry. Imagine. Next, distant. And last, trophy. So the first one is always done for you. If the vocabulary word was beyond, a word that maybe stand for beyond would be distant and further. Distant and further. So let's go ahead and write over or trace over the distant and further. Let's go ahead and trace over number 1. Also, when you are done tracing over it, go ahead and scratch out further because we won't be using that again. And go ahead and scratch out further once you have wrote it on the line. Now let's look at number 2. Number 2 vocabulary word says create. Now keep in mind, to create something, you will use your imagination. When you are creating something, you are using your imagination. So what is one word that comes to mind when you hear the word create? What is one word that comes to mind when you hear the word create? Keep in mind that when you create something, you are using your imagination. You should have chose imagine. Imagine. When you hear the word create, you are imagining something or you're using your imagination. So for the first word under create, we're going to write the word imagine. Remember, once you write that word, go ahead and cross it out. That way we know that we are not able to use it again. So our first word is imagine. What would be another word that we can use when we, or that we think about when we hear the word create? What would be another word? You should have said build. When you are creating something, sometimes you are building it or you are making it. So you should have said build. So let's go ahead and write the word build on the line under create or under imagine. Let's go ahead and write the word build. Let's go ahead and write the word build. Now let's go to your third vocabulary word. Let's go to your third vocabulary word. And your third vocabulary word is the word what? Is the word literature. The word literature. So let's keep in mind that the word literature is stories and poems. The word literature is stories and poems. So when you think about stories and poems, what do you do with the story? What do you do with a story? When your teacher provides you with a story and they might say, let's open up to page da 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 of the story of Gabriella, then I'll say, Natasha, can you blank for me page 366? So when I think about literature and I think about stories and I ask Natasha, can she what? Can she do what for me? I would say, can you read? Can you read for me page 376 of the story of Gabriella? So whenever you think about stories and you think about the word literature, you will normally be reading in literature. So let's go ahead and write the word read under literature. Let's go ahead and write the word read under literature. Remember, once you write that word, go ahead and cross it out. Remember, once you write that word, go ahead and cross it out. Now, since we know that literature is about stories and poems, let's say that today is a big day for me to read my poem. But they want me to use my memorization skills. They want me to remember the poem in which I have read for, let's say, a week or a couple of days. So in order for me to remember it, I have to read it, and then I also have to do what? This also goes for you when a test is coming up. And I tell you, your test is tomorrow, so tonight I need you to, if I tell you that your test is coming up, or if they ask you to read a poem, they're going to ask you that I need you to do it tomorrow. So are you able to study tonight? Study. So under literature and under read, you need to write the word study. Study. You need to write the word study. All right, now let's go to your fourth vocabulary word. Your fourth vocabulary word is the word the word notice, the word notice. Now keep in mind that in order for you to notice something, that means that you observe something carefully. In order for you to notice something, that means that you observe something carefully. So when it comes to observing, when you are observing something, you're normally doing this part with your eyes. So what word refers to something that you do with your eyes? What word refers to something that you do with your eyes? Let's say you may have chosen important. Your eyes are important, but we don't use our eyes important. So think about it again. When you see the word notice, this is something that I observe. This is something that I saw. This is something that I saw. So under the word notice, I want you to write the word saw. Under the word notice, I want you to write the word saw. Remember, to notice something is to observe it, to see it. So I saw it. Now, another form of observation, or another form of a way to notice something or to observe something, maybe you don't see it, but there's a part of you that can feel it. And another form of something that you feel can be that you what? Another form of something that you feel, like, it's a feeling. It's a feeling. It's something that you may have sensed. You may have sensed this, or you may have sensed that. So another form of something that you may have noticed is something that you may have sensed. So under saw, let's write the word sensed. Let's write the word sensed. Now let's go to award. Let's go to your fifth vocabulary word, and that word is award. Now this one should be fairly easy. When you think about an award, remember that an award is something that you receive when you do something others think is very good. A reward is something that you receive when someone or others think that it is very good. So looking at your word bank, what word would be another form of an award? I have prize. So prize will be another form of an award. So let's write the word prize on the line under reward. My pen's running out. Again, prize will be another form of a reward. And then what is another form of a reward? What is another form of a reward? And trophy. Trophy will be another form of a reward. Trophy will be another form of a reward. Now we're on our very last vocabulary word. And our very last vocabulary word is the word what? Is the word grand. So keep in mind that when we think of the word grand, it is something that is important and wonderful. It is something that is important and wonderful. So luckily, important and wonderful is your very last two words. So let's go ahead and write on the two lines under grand, important and wonderful. Important and wonderful. Important and wonderful. Important and wonderful. So now let's go back through it. So when I think of the word beyond, two words that could relate to the word beyond will be distant and further. When I think of the word create, two words that can relate to create will be imagine and build. When I think of the word literature, two words that can relate to literature will be read and study. When I think of the word notice, two words that can be related to notice will be saw and sensed. When I think of the word award, two words that can relate to award will be prize and trophy. And then last but certainly not least, when I think of the word grand, two words that can relate to grand will be important and wonderful. So now the second half of that page says to read each pair of words. Use each pair of words in a sentence. It says use each pair of words in a sentence. So it looks like you're doing the same thing for numbers 7, 8, and 9 as you're doing on the front. So you're going to use the word beyond and notice in one sentence on number 7. Then on number 8, you're going to use the word create in literature in one sentence for number 8. And then you're going to use the word grand and beyond in one sentence for number 9. That completes all of your reading for today. I look forward to seeing you all in Bible